Okay. 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 Let's come to our storage classes. So we have many storage classes. So as I was saying, these are all building blocks of our S3. So in order to store any data on S3, we must select any of the storage classes. What are the storage classes? See, basically, whenever we upload certain files on S3, so S3 by default, they have categorized some classes. With the help of these things, user can save some sort of money by selecting the appropriate class. For example, if my requirement is to have a frequently access your images or your data, then it is saying, hey, go and select uh, some other, go and select any of these ones which is feasible for your requirement. See, here I can see these many storage classes. By default, if you don't change anything, by default, S3 standard one would be selecting as a default storage classes. When do we use this S3 standard class for your bucket? If your requirement is dynamic application, and if you are dealing with video streaming, something like that, or if your requirement is to deal with some storages where you need to access them very frequently, then it is preferable to use standard class. We'll see one by one. But what I'm trying to say, so with the help, we have different categories of classes. So based on my requirement, I will have to choose any of these storage classes. Okay. So where exactly we need to select that, I'll show to you in some time. So let us try to understand different categories which are, I mean, that there are different types of storage classes which are available in S3. Okay. So basically S3 refers, storage classes refers, which will help us to optimize your cost by selecting appropriate classes. So the storage class refers uh, if your data upload is for some requirement, so based on that, it asks us to select a appropriate class. We will see one by one. When do we need to use a standard storage class? Right. So whenever we need to have a durability, availability, and performance related ones, then it's recommendable to use this storage class. Right. And for example, if and see, you can see it is designed to get 99.99 percentage of availability, and coming to the durability, you can almost get 100% of durability. So, and the use cases, if you are looking for dynamic websites or content distributions or gaming applications, then it's your choice to use to select this S3 standard one. This is the storage class. Don't worry, I will no, I will give a demo on selection of this S3 standard, and we'll also try to select these three one as well. Okay. So this is one of the standard class which is available in S3. Now we have another class called S3 Intelligent Tiering. Okay. See, basically here it does create two layers within this terminology or within this technology. So when we are using S3 intelligent tiering, right? So what exactly it does create two layers within this technology, and if the data which we are frequently accessing, it will route those, or it will just route those data into one layer, right? And if it observes that if the data is not accessible very frequently, then it is stored in some other layer. Right? So that's the reason the name has given intelligent tiering. So it has a capacity to judge the traffic and to judge the request as well, and accordingly, it will create two layers, and it starts storing them in those particular layers, so that uh, definitely we can expect more performance compared to standard one, right? So I've given some details, just go through them, right? So standard S3 standard basically to so the use cases I have given. If any of your requirement falls under this category, please go ahead and select S3 standard. And if there are some data where you can see some gap in some of the data where you need to access them very frequently, or some of the data you may access probably after some time with some gap. So in that case, so please try to use S3 intelligent tiering. How exactly it works? It does maintain two layers, and the frequent data will be stored in the one layer, and the rarely used one will be stored at the another layer. Okay, this is about S3 intelligent tiering. And now coming to standard infrequent access. So this is another class which is part of your storage classes. So this is good option when you see infrequent data, right? So if you want to access your data which is infrequently, then just go ahead and use it. And the minimum capacity or minimum size should be more than 128 kilobytes. But you must, if you select this one, if you select this standard this storage class, we must keep the data for minimum 30 days. So this is the funda here. So here we don't have any in a standard one and intelligent tiering one. So we don't have any such kind of conditions. So but in standard infrequent access storage class, so we are supposed to keep our data for minimum 30 days. So see, it all depends on client requirement or your application requirement, right? So if that is your case, just go ahead and select this one. And next, coming to one zone infrequent access. So almost it maintains the same thing. And yeah, here also it is asking to maintain minimum 128 kilobytes of storage. A minimum object should have minimum this capacity, and we should keep at least for 30 days. Just go through them. Probably, I mean, it will have some zone kind of thing. So just go through on the theory part. Now, I think we have discussed about this Glacier. So see, if you want to archive your data, then it is a good option. And your object size should be greater than 40 KB, and you should keep your data for minimum 90 days. What if you don't want to keep your data for 90 days? Anyhow, we have an option of delete, right? If you select this one, once we store our data on S3 Glacier storage class, even if you delete or not, you will be charged for 90 days, right? So this is about Glacier one. And again, it's the Glacier deep archive, and it's an improved one of this S3 Glacier. So you should keep minimum of 180 days. For at least for 6 months, you need to keep them. The reason, definitely there will be some requirements, right? So if you want to keep some data for 6 months or 1 year, if that is the case, you need to select these options, right? So, and I have given some, just a second. I've given some comparison. So I request all of you to go through it. Okay. So now let us try to implement storage class. Till now we were discussing about storage classes and all that. Let us see how to do it. Now, first let me create a budget. So I'll just say training 11, and I'm selecting not Virginia as a region, and I'm also selecting access control list, and I'm unblocking this one so that it should be accessed publicly, and I acknowledge this one and create button. Now just get into your bucket and try to upload one file. So let me upload a file. So I can get it in. This is a test file which I'm uploading here, and please give the permission as well to your object. So that I'm granting public access, and check this one. Click on upload. Okay, I've just uploaded here. Now click on your object. Just scroll down. Just scroll down. Here you see a option of storage class, which means each and every object which we are uploading, it must have any of your storage class. See, I've created a bucket. On top of the bucket, I have uploaded a file called text.txt, and within that, you see that by default, there is a storage class here which has selected as standard. Just click on edit it, right? So here you can see this one, right? So that's what, right? So as I mentioned, just go through the differences, and here I can easily change it from one storage class to another storage class. So in short, storage classes are the medium, so which will help us to store our data in a organized manner based on your requirement, which means there are some charges based on the selection of storage classes. And if you want to store more than 80, 180 days or more than 6 months, and if you want to have a long run data, then let us select this one. And if you see some discrepancies in your data access, if you see very frequent access or infrequent access, better to try with this one. Now, this is a good option to analyze and change your storage classes based on your data. See, what I'll do, this is my object URL. I'm just pasting here, and I should be able to see some data on it. I think I don't have any data here. Is it true? Yeah, I don't have anything. Let me add some data. Now, let me try to upload another object, right? I mean, same object. So this is possible. I think yesterday we have seen it. So let me click on upload, add file, go to your file and click on test.txt, and also you need to give the public access permission, and click on upload. Things are done. Now, if you just refresh this one, then you will be able to see this is the content which I have written now. Now, let's say I think that I think storage is not suitable for my application or for my one of my requirements. So if I need to change the storage class from one to another, it is possible. How to do that? Just click on your object and click on storage class, and you can select this option from storage to intelligent tiering and click on save. You will not see any issues while changing the storage classes from one to another. See, now I've changed the storage class, and but still I'll be able to access the same URL without having any issue, right? So this is the beauty of storage class. So which will internally which will take care of this conversion of storage class. So storage classes, when I say, this is not a kind of the storage part, which means this is not the place where we store our data, because the data gets stored on bucket. So here I'm just maintaining the standard. The storage class refers to a standard where which will help if we follow that those standards, which will help us to minimize our cost, right? So now if you look into this storage class, what I have done, have changed to intelligent tiering, right? So this is all about uh, storage classes. So it is very much needed. You are supposed to read the documentation of this. I've given you a couple of details on it. So I request all of you to go through it. And I'll also try to share AWS documentations on this. This is very much needed. You should understand uh, where exactly you need to store your objects, right? And one more thing, I just forgot to mention that. Is it possible to change your one second? Is it possible to change your storage classes based on your object? No, right? It is not our case, right? So every time, okay, I'm uploading a file, so which is not a frequent one. Now, by mistake, I mean, purposefully I've selected standard. Now, if my requirement is to change it to intelligent clearing. So it is not my job or it is not a good practice and it is not recommended to follow this manual process to change the storage class from one to another, right? So what we have some probably we'll be covering in upcoming sessions. We have something called as life cycle management, right? Probably tomorrow or day after we'll see. So when we look into it, when we look into our storage, I mean life cycle management. So there we can clearly define the switching of the storage classes from one to another, right? So we can automate the process. So we don't have every time I don't have to come here and select it and I need to save the changes and so that the particular storage class gets updated on that particular object. So every time it is not a good practice to manually edit this. So instead we'll define some standards, we'll define some conditions, and if the object met that particular condition, then let it select appropriate storage class. Right? So we'll see that little later. All right. So this is what I had to discuss about storage classes. All right.